Hi, everybody. It's Christopher Sapienza. How are you? I wanted to do a quick little video because I had a few people reach out to me and say, Chris, we didn't see your first day of school pictures like you usually do for the past 14 years. And that's because I don't have any first day of school pictures because this is the first year in 14 years that I'm not going back to teach. Now, most of you who are following my old Facebook page, because that has gone away for some unknown reason, thanks Facebook, but I had posted that I was leaving my school back in June, and I gave my notice. And I didn't get into many details then, but I think it's important to share now some of the reasons why I didn't go back. I had a couple people ask me what had happened, and I think a lot of other educators are in the same boat. But truly, the issue at hand is more so not, well, first of all, the the entire education system across the country is in flux. I think we can agree with that. And one of the issues that is a culprit throughout the entire system and across the country, and actually not just in education, but in corporate America as well, deals with the administration or your executives and the employees underneath. And that is comparing the difference and understanding the differences between appreciation and value. They're two totally different things. Appreciation is something that's very important in any workplace, work environment. Appreciation comes in many different facets. It can be a bagel breakfast, right? It could be on Teacher Appreciation Day. You get a blanket with your, I keep hitting my mic, sorry, a blanket with the school logo on it. You could get something from your office, a big corporate job with the logo of your company on a binder or with, a notepad. I don't know. Jackets, all the little, swag that can be given out. Appreciation is wonderful. Appreciation is needed. A thank you goes a long way. But when your employer doesn't show value in you and the work, that changes the game for me, and it did in my situation. There were many situations where I went to the powers that be, those above me, and let me backtrack 1 second. You should know that number one, I was self-employed. I am self-employed. I have my own production company. I'm here in my studio where I do book narration and commercial voiceover work. As well, I do acting outside of here across the country. So my acting has been my number one go-to. The school where I was employed, special needs school in Philadelphia, I was hired as a contractor, not as an employee. So that's a key point where it is slightly different. I was the oddball out at the school as the only contracted teacher. I headed up, along with another buddy of mine, the music program. And I took the music program and grew it from just being a choir and two choirs, actually, to having multiple general music classes. I ended up creating a playwriting class. We did a whole section on music and movies and music on the stage and screen. Sorry. So I would create curriculum for classes if we needed something new, something fun, something different that the kids wanted. We had concerts, etc. And then when we went into COVID, everything went virtual. So I was now bringing, this is part of the issue that was coming up, I was now bringing other aspects of my skill sets, which were not used in the school, which are part of my company, to the table, doing video work, creating really cool graphics that could go along with our concerts, videotaping concerts, taking former concerts that were taped and putting them together, creating something to have to present of our students' work. Not only that, my skill sets were what brought graduation and prom and Moving Up Day and Achievement Day and Sports Banquet. I was the one who was able to help organize and produce all of those events for the end of school while we were dealing with COVID. Did I have a problem doing that? No, I love that. I thrive off of that work. I enjoy it. Did they appreciate the work? Yes, they did. Was I necessarily paid for any of that work? No. Eventually, because I fought for it, but it wasn't the number of hours that I worked. It was only part of the hours that I worked, and I agreed to that. And again, it's what we do. One of the big things that is always said so many times, which I think needs to stop, is that we teachers, we got to do it for the students. It's for the students. Why do you think teachers are in the classroom to begin with? For the students. That's why. We're there for the students to begin with. So don't use the students as the little thing to hang over someone's head and say, that's why you got to do it. There needs to come the point in time when the teacher is respected and honored for the work that they do and what they bring to the table. And if it means paying them a little bit extra, because I was only allowed 23 hours a week. I was part-time contracted employee, 23 hours a week. I ended up doing 40, 50, 60 hours, well beyond what I was contracted to do. And I had to fight to get paid for 10 extra hours. 10 extra hours. Because, you're supposed to stay after school and work until 6 o'clock or work over the weekends. Not when you have another company, and I'm still doing other acting work outside of my 3 days there. So that's where me as the oddball guy being a contractor was a little different. So we understand that. So the difference between the appreciation and the value is when, as we said, the thank yous, the little gifts that you get from the company, the blanket, the bagel breakfast, blah, blah, blah. That's appreciation and it's needed. The value comes in when your employee, your teacher, your para-ed, your secretary, whoever, comes to you and says, listen, I need help. I need help with X, Y, and Z to do my job better. I need help X, Y, and Z because I'm doing a lot of extra time and I need to be compensated for it. I need help in that I need to get paid on time. It's another part of the issue that happened with me as a contractor. I didn't have direct deposit. I would have to supply an invoice and they would supply me a check the following week. And many times that check was late. 14 years at the school, and every year, inevitably, the check would be late. I would be a week late, and I'd have to suck it up. That doesn't help me in my bills, right? But as a contractor, that's what I had to deal with. And it got to the point where it became habitual the last year, where several pay periods in a row were late. Didn't happen because the office was locked, where the executive director had to MacGyver his way in to get the check for me, which did happen, or the check amount was wrong. So these little things kept building up to where I felt I'm getting screwed over here. And when I went to my higher ups, that be, to ask, can you please work out something? The first time the response was, and this is a few years back, the response was, you know what, Sapienza, you need to lower your expectations on when you're going to get paid. The CFO actually said that to me. And the executive director sat there and did nothing. Didn't say, wait a second, we got to help this guy out. Nope. It was that day that I knew that my presence meant nothing to them. They didn't care about me. They didn't care if my pay was late. Oh, well, you're just going to have to wait until we get it to you. So I had to start flipping my brain around. And this is right before COVID started. So then we got into COVID. That happened. It all worked out throughout COVID. I wasn't complaining anything there, except for wanting to get paid for the extra work I was doing. When we got back and we're back in school, 3 pay periods in a row, I had issues. And when I asked for help, nothing happened. I even created I even created something for the business office to say, if X, then Y. If the person who does the checks isn't in, then this person can do it. If you are going to be leaving early, let so and so know, and they can come in and get the check so it's not locked up. The check needs to be available the week after invoice is in. It's that simple. And it didn't happen. So when the rest of the year went on, I knew I was going to be ending my time with the school. I was continuing doing my work. I was in charge of all the things that took place in the auditorium, making sure lights were set and all the gear that was in there. The sound system, we had a huge pipe organ. The pipe organ died, got a new organ, electronic organ for free. We had to pay for moving and installation, and we needed a sound system for that. So all we paid for was minimal versus having to get a new pipe organ, which would have been over $100,000. So I'm there saving the school money, and I'm letting the administration know these are the things that are going to be happening. This is what the schedule is like. This is where we're at with this new instrument coming in. And at one point, the CFO at the time, who is a different person than the first one, who I told me I had to lower my expectations on getting paid. Yeah, this is a new person. This person, she said that I had no authority doing any of the work that I was doing. And I had to go back and remind them by printing out part of my job description that actually said verbatim, it is my responsibility to do that. So all of these things where they're just trying to show who's boss, that doesn't impress me. That doesn't impress me at all. And because I do work outside of teaching and work in the entertainment world, I have worked with and co-produced, worked with another production company doing huge events, whether it's at Radio City Music Hall or we've been on tour. There goes a phone. We've done a ton of work where we're dealing and managing budgets far well beyond what I was having to deal with, and had much more responsibility and more pressure on me to set goals and to achieve all those goals that were set than I was dealing with managing the auditorium at the school. So I just was done because nobody at the school showed value in me to give me the support that I needed to get the auditorium taken care of, to help me get my pay on time. It was that just got to the point of, you don't care about me. But then we started seeing in emails that were school-wide how they were really pressuring more and more that we had to do more and more and more and more when we were already spent and burnt out. Taking breakfast carts out when the food services department wasn't able to do it for some reason. They tasked it to other people in the school, pulling them away from other jobs that they're actually there to do. So I was doing breakfast cart for a year. Okay, I'm there to help. Whoever needs help, I will do it. But then it was that was being taken advantage of. And now that's going to be part of your job. And we kept getting thrown in our faces, other related duties. Don't forget that's in your contract, other related duties. So they try to hold that over your head as a way to manipulate you to do other people's work. Not so much help them out because they're in need, but actually go and now you're doing another job. That got old pretty quick, not just for me, but everybody who was doing it. Why are we doing this? I've got lesson plans to do. I've got to prep my class up for the day. So-and-so had to get his tech together. Someone else had phone calls to make because she was the secretary for a department and she's late getting these calls out. It was one thing after another. Nobody was listening to us saying, we can't do this anymore. Instead, it was looked at, you're not willing to do your job. Food services job, let them do it. They have people who can do this. Someone had written in asking for help for the last day of school because she had to pack her room up to go somewhere else. But we were given clear directive that we were to have instructional teaching days through the last class period of the last day of school. So the only way a teacher could do anything, move her entire classroom, again, special needs kids. Most of her kids were probably in wheelchairs, feeding tubes, have special needs where they had para-eds helping out as well. They couldn't pack up the room to move to the next room they're supposed to be in for the next year. So are you going to pay them to come in and do that at another time? Are they expected to stay after school until 6 o'clock to do it? Now, I know so many of you who are teachers do that. And, you take one for the team and you don't get paid for it. That's got to stop. That has got to stop. We need to be paid what we're worth. Your time is money. It's valuable. So just to keep saying, well, you do it for the kids has got to stop. But my point is, again, the value. If they valued this teacher, they would have said, we'll get you somebody to help. When I had my exit interview, I brought that exact example up. And I said, look, this person needs help. And the executive director and the HR manager were there. And I said, what did you hear when this email came out? And the HR director said, it sounds like they are trying to get out of their job. And I'm like, oh my God, if that's what you think this is, you are so far off base. It has nothing to do with getting out of a job. It has to do with doing her job and needing the help to get it done. So when the executive director asked who were we supposed to get, I said, get someone from the business office, get someone from food services or development, someone who's not a teacher, who's not a para-ed working through the end of the school day. And the answer that was replied was basically, the law says we have to have 120 some odd hours of educational time and 200 and some odd days, or vice versa. It was a legalese answer, basically saying, no, we're not going to help you. And so what the administration did was leave this person out to dry, and you're screwed. So who knows what ended up happening? And that is where the problem comes in. And when he said, well, I'm supposed to get other people from these other departments, they're going to complain that they're being pulled from their department and not doing their job to help someone in the education department. And I was like, well, how's that different than me or someone in tech or one of the secretaries having to take the breakfast cart every morning doing the food services job? But it was expected of us. It was interesting. He really couldn't answer that. So, as this new year school starts, the school year starts, it's odd not going back. It's very odd. I miss my kids. I miss my colleagues that I got to work with desperately. But my kids especially, I'm a single guy. I don't have kids, so they were sort of my surrogate kids. And they're special needs kids, so they hold even a more special place in my heart. I had started working there in 2008. I had been up for a job to go back and do some work with Disney, and I was not going to stay. And a friend of mine said, you better be careful because they're going to hold on to your heart and you're going to stick around here. I ended up not getting the Disney job, and lo and behold, I stayed there for 14 years. So leaving the school was not a decision that was made by the seat of my pants. I didn't just say, oh, I'm done. I really had to put this plan forward. In fact, in December of last year, I interviewed for another teaching position. I got the job, but the money was horrendous, and it was an insult. That's one thing I will say. The school where I was at, I felt I was being paid finally what I was worth. So I never had a problem with the financials of how much I was being paid, although other people did have issues there, which the school is fixing. My issue was getting paid on time and the fact that nobody was willing to help me. I literally was screaming to the executive director in our rotunda, the big entrance of our school, when the office was locked and he had to MacGyver my check out, yelling like, help me, help me. Nothing happened. Nothing changed. And if anything was changing, they didn't say, Chris, we're going to work on this. We're going to help you out. Nothing. And that was when I realized I need to be my own boss again. I have my own production company. Like I said, I've had it for just as many years as I was teaching. I'm in my studio. I do voiceover work now as my thing, book narrator. I've done shows. I'm still auditioning for everything. And I don't have money in the bank, really. It's not like I'm sitting here with, money that I can live off of right now. I don't. It's hard. But I took a leap of faith because I believe that what I'm doing now will be profitable in the next few months. By November, I will start seeing the turnaround. So living the next 2 months is not going to be easy. It's going to be real hard. It is hard, but it will pay off, mainly because I am out of a situation that was bringing me down mentally and emotionally. I started on antidepressants because of my work. I said that to them. I'm on drugs now because of you. That shouldn't be anything you're proud of as an administration. That's not good. I'm thrilled that I was on them because I feel like I had clarity to be able to walk away and take the leap of faith to do this. So that is my lesson for today, the difference between appreciation and value. And trust me, the appreciation is just as important. People need to have those little perks come to you, the free lunches from the parents group, which were wonderful and so sweet and loving, the little mugs or the pens or the breakfasts, the bagels, the cookies, the donut days. Those are wonderful and they should be going on. But if you are an administrator of a school, if you are an executive of a corporate office, value your employees, value them, because that is only going to make you look better and make the company soar, make the students do better, make the school look and do amazing things in the future. So hopefully that explains, for those who were questioning why I left, why. And for those who don't know me, who are thinking about leaving, make sure you have a game plan and make sure you know your value and know what you're worth, and don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Okay. Thanks for listening, and more info to come. We're going to be talking about taking the leap of faith, and I'm going to do another video on what it is to be the arrow. My big mantra for my life right now, be the arrow. So that will be the next video. Hope you tune in, and thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful school year, everybody. I won't be there.